Alright everybody, so a lot of you probably remember me showing you this book in class. So we looked at it and we talked about the story it came from, and one of the big things we talked about there is how the illustrator Charles Santor was able to make the house look very three-dimensional. We know that this story is a fantasy type story, but the images in it are made to look very realistic. So we see lines like here, we can tell that this is a diagonal line that looks like it's going away from us. The lines that look like they're pointing towards the background are the ones that sort of help give it that 3D effect. So we said that is called linear perspective. So linear perspective means we're using lines as artists to show the effect of having that 3D illusion. So in this story we said that it's fantasy because this is Dorothy, and of course we know she visits the Land of Oz. So what we're going to do today is we're going to actually combine two things that we've talked about. So we've been talking about using linear perspective. We've been talking about fantasy stories, and before that we even got into a conversation about a style of art called op art. So technically I guess we're really combining three things. So when we look here, we can tell what the illustrator is doing. Charles Santor is showing us this linear perspective where the yellow brick road seems to be going away from us. In the landscape itself, things that are close to us, this tree, this seems to be larger than trees that are in the background that seem to get further away from us. So he's winding the yellow brick road through the landscape. So what we've got to think about is we're going to do an image that will look like a landscape that shows parts of Oz from the story The Wizard of Oz. So we've got to decide, well, in our drawing there's things we could put in there, like that Charles Santor put in trees. We could put in trees. He put in houses and buildings that look like they're in parts of the Land of Oz. We could put in those things. The yellow brick road, if we leave that out, nobody's going to know it's from that story. So that's not a could put in there, that's a should put in there. So we'll have to decide some of those things as we plan out our drawing.